What's up guys, today is a Sunday. Last week this bike has completed its first service, so I thought why don't I make a kind of reviewing and explaining on sharing the experience with this bike so far. It's like a kind of first service video. I'll be explaining the expenses which it costed for the first service. You would be surprised, if you hear that the cost. And this is going to be a kind of stable video, me just talking to the camera and explaining the stuff regarding this bike and the performance. First, before that, let me introduce this guy. I named him as Chris. If you don't know who's that, named after is Christopher Johnson McCandless. If you guys don't know him, just watch the movie called Into the Wild and comment down below what you know about him. So before that, just hear the exhaust sound. The first thing that I would like to talk about is the engine. Bro, insanely smooth. The refinement was put in this engine is pretty high, just very smooth. You don't feel the noise, you don't feel the jerk, something like that. While talking about the engine, I love this kicker, which is not always, working pretty well, but it does a job, when you're in off-roading. If you want to start initially, it takes 3 to 4 kicks. As I'm talking about the engine, I had to talk about this gear. The gear ratio is designed in such a way that, let's say if you are at 3rd gear or 4th gear and you are at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, it could still pick up from the 20 or 15 even, for that matter. So which is very useful when you're in a traffic, so you don't have to change the gears more often and you don't feel a jerk as well, and I've had no issues regarding the heating, since it comes with a liquid cooling engine. What are the things here to talk about? The stand, I find it it's decently well, but I find at some point I find it so slippery, so I had to I'll put some pads here in future. Another thing that I love is the braking system. It's a single channel ABS, obviously, and dual disc. The brake is pretty quick. I don't know, it's a good or bad. The rear wheel locks bit early, if you touch your leg, it'll just lock the wheel. Since the disc brake is so sharp, so it could lock the wheel, which is very useful in off-roading, but when you're at a traffic, gotta be a little careful. I recently had done 600 kilometers trip. The engine braking was pretty high. I've done through guard section and off-road, so the engine braking was pretty useful at that time, and you often find the importance of the engine braking at that cornering and off-roading, which is very required at that time. And coming to the seat comfort, I found no discomfort, any kind of tidiness or something like that. Stock seat is so comfort. The other thing that I want to talk is the suspension. These are stock suspensions, so you absolutely feel no bumps in the road and no potholes, nothing, it just smoothly you can ride. But I'm actually planning for a rally edition suspension in future, so that'd be more fun, going through off-roads and stuff. This instrument cluster, which is well compact and looks so cool, but the detailing is pretty high, so the only disappointing thing for me is this gear indicator. As long as you hold the clutch bar like this, the gear indicator disappears, which is pretty disappointing in a traffic. During off-roading it doesn't matter, but when you're in a traffic it's very necessary. And the feature that I love the most in this instrument cluster is this the Bluetooth pairing. You'll get a triple navigation that works well. I've tried it. I haven't tried the calls and text messages. Notifications also will be disappeared. I haven't tried it. These joints, plastic accessories could have been more better. So yeah, I have to tell you about this handlebar. It's a stock handlebar. My height is around 5'11". I couldn't comfortably make saddling. I had to lean a bit forward, so probably I'll install some handlebar risers the Hero provides in showroom itself. I'll install it in future. The service cost was actually around 460. That's it. It's pretty cheap, right? That's the first service cost. I'll put the invoice in this video as well. These accessories were also pretty cheap. You could get it within 1,000 rupees. Yeah, overall the bike is pretty excellent, I would say. The only disappointing thing that I feel is the headlight. You could see, let's see. Like during daytimes, I had to switch on the ignition. Yeah. During the daytime, you could see, it looks pretty bright, but when it comes to night rides, it's absolutely useless. I'll put a night ride clip as well. Could absolutely see nothing. That's the only takeaway in this bike. Yeah, that's it. I don't have much complaints over this bike apart from the headlamp and the gear indicator and the slippery stand. I have no issue. We'll see further any updates regarding this bike comes out. I'll let you guys inform. Stay connected, do subscribe and like. If you guys have any idea about upgradations and any kind of things which worthy knowing about this bike, just comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts on the X Pulse. Yeah, bye bye.